I'd like to welcome back to the stage the cast and crew of Synchronic. Did you guys like it? I just want to start by talking a little bit about the writing process, because you guys are so good at kind of morphing what we think of as a genre movie and playing with what we think of as a genre movie. And I wanted to know when this particular genre entered into this movie.
You mean the sci-fi genre?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I guess it was at the very, very beginning, right? It was kind of the whole conception of the project was that it was the time travel pill, like a 3-word synopsis.
Yeah, it was written in 2015, and yeah, the conception of it was that, hey, what if there were a drug that made you see time the way that Einstein described it, and there being no distinction between the past, present, or future? And in that sense, when you went to this altered state, yeah, you would see another time completely. And then beyond that was the idea of, you know, like we all love Back to the Future. Back to the Future is an amazing film. It can't be in a room without getting drawn into it, but there's something about that movie where it's like, it's kind of like the myth of the past, like the past is this great romanticized time, when we were thinking like, no, the past is probably like a monster of a movie. It could be the antagonist of a movie, and especially if the main character isn't a white heterosexual male, the past is horrible. Yeah.
That was the other question I was going to ask, was when kind of race entered into it and what your conversations with Anthony were about it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't make a movie about an African American man going into the past and pretend that everything would be fine. Yeah. And we also didn't want to make a movie that was exclusively about that, because it's not our story. And so we wanted to make sure that we equally represented that kind of a thing, but also in the fact that it's bad for everybody for many different reasons. I mean, you see the caveman, and that's just, it looks like the world's worst existence all the time. And as awful as the world is, and as much as we need to fix it, it still was terrible when there was basically no conception of healthcare. You know?
I wanted to ask about the performances a little bit. It's such a, like, so much of it is such a nuanced drama. And I was really struck with the kinship that it felt. Did you guys spend a lot of time rehearsing? Did you spend a lot of time together beforehand? Did you spend a lot of time?
No.
Yeah.
No, it was kind of crazy. I mean, sometimes you're just not afforded that luxury to have time to, you know, integrate with the people that you're going to be spending this time with, and to form the friendships that you're going to try to be portraying on screen. Sometimes that just isn't allowed. You know, Anthony and I both came off something else straight into it. We met, like, we had a couple of like sort of sketchy read-through rehearsal things at Justin's apartment in LA. I think I'd probably spent an hour and a half with Anthony before we were on there sort of portraying a sort of 20-year friendship. We don't even like each other, to be honest, so. I mean, I actually said, do you want to stick around for the Q&A? He was like, no.
That's how we lost it. I'm going to open up to the audience. Does anybody have any questions right here?
So, this is a good movie that I think I've seen in years that involves time, and also some Twilight Zone and Lovecraftian influences in there as well. I'm thinking about hypnos. What is that constantly attracts you to the subject of time, and what inspires you to make these types of stories and going forward?
So the question was about this in relation to your other work and how you've made many films that involve time, and what attracts you to it.
I think it's just whenever you sit down to make a movie that wants to scare you or scare people, you have to go into your own fears, and one of my biggest ones is the fact that we inexorably are marching towards getting older, dying, all of everyone you know dying, your loved ones dying, all of that. And so it's just that idea of the fact that time passes, even though technically, according to armchair physics, it is not actually passing, it's merely how we perceive it. That's what it is. It's just diving into our own fears and hoping everybody else shares them.
Right here?
What do you like least about Anthony? And what do you like most
This is unfair. I mean, we'll be here a long time. No, I genuinely I do really sincerely love the man. He was, I don't like that he's in such great shape. I don't like that. I don't like how good he looks in very tight shirts. No, listen, he's like a very giving, open, really soulful, beautiful actor. You know, I think, you know, a lot of the stuff that when, you know, Steve is going back in time and trying to, you know, get to the bottom of all this and do like the greatest thing that can be done for friendship. I wasn't there for a lot of that, you know, I was playing golf. So like, that was amazing. Like a lot of that I haven't seen, and that's the first time I've seen the movie, so it's all quite raw for me. And I just thought Anthony was just so incredible in that movie. I just absolutely loved him. So yeah.
Right here. So the question is, what drew both of you to this script?
Money.
I just saw Jamie Dornan was attached, and I was like, I'm down.
No, it definitely wasn't money with this. No, I'd been sent some stuff that Justin and Aaron had done before. And it's a world, I've probably seen like 4 sci-fi movies in my entire life, and they're the really mainstream, obvious ones that, you know, people who aren't even into movies have seen. So it's a genre that I'm quite green on, and I watched The Endless, and I didn't need to watch anything else. I was just like, what is this? What are they doing? This incredible piece of filmmaking. And then when they told me what budget they did that on, I literally blew my mind. So. And then I was, you know, it's so much more than sci-fi, this, and it has so much heart, and I cried when I read the script, and I didn't expect to cry reading a sci-fi script, and yeah, I didn't have to think about it. Anthony was already attached, I think, when it came my way, so yeah, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, same. I just read the script and loved it, and I love sci-fi, and then I watched The Endless, and I love that movie too, so.
Kind of, looping this back around, connected to this, is why we mysteriously think a guy named Houston Costa is here right now. Was that Houston Costa? He's an agent at UTA. He just like randomly went and saw our last movie, The Endless, at a little theater in North Hollywood, and he loved it. And he helped, and he somehow got Jamie to read, and then someone got Anthony to read. We had been trying to get celebrity actors to read our scripts for 5 years. Never once happened, and you guys are like the first ones who gave us a shot. So.
Make sure I'm not ignoring the balcony right in the front. So the question was about shooting in New Orleans and what were some of your favorite spots?
Yeah, we stayed in, I think it's called, there's Central City and Mid City. I think we stayed in Mid City near the Lower Garden. And that's where we got to live, in a shotgun house. And it was me, Justin, and our producer, Dave. Raise your hand. Okay, he's gone. Whatever.
He's with Anthony somewhere out there.
Yeah. and then the other side of the duplex shotgun was Michael Felker, our editor, Will Sampson, our operator, and Ryan Ornstein, our first AD. And so it was like this little pressure cooker of independent film in one thing where like we still only had 2 bathrooms. I have to walk through like someone else's sleeping room to like get to it. And so it was like this amazing summer camp in a big city. It was actually really wonderful. And thank you, by the way, because we always wish we could have made the movie 10 minutes longer and just like found really interesting corners of New Orleans and just put cameras on it. But it's an honor to know that we did the city justice.
So the question was, is there ever consideration with the ending to not have Steve come back?
There was never a version of the script where he didn't come back, and we never shot an alternate ending. The only thing we considered was cutting out on the handshake. So, and then it would just be like, oh, you wonder, did he or didn't he? But that was the extent of it. We never left Steve in the War of 1812.
The problem being that two things. One is on just a mechanical level, we should then go cut other scenes in the movie because they're setting up a payoff that never comes. And then two is we're optimists.
It's fair. Right here.
Oh my God, yeah. That was, did everyone hear it?
Just for the rest of the audience,
Yeah.
the question was to the scene that was shot in one take with the OD and the stab wound with the sword, and what all that was like for you guys, for what inspired it, what it was like rehearsing it.
I'll just start by verifying. It is for sure one take, and it actually can go longer. But an early note on the film was that it was like, oh, I kind of felt like the time travel came out of nowhere, so we need to go to a close-up of that coin. But that is actually it goes actually to a single take until Anthony and until you guys exit.
Yeah, it was one shot, and it was a difficult night filming. You know, there's so many variables and so many people having to do their job, like, you know, with pinpoint accuracy. So it was a lot, but like we got it pretty much like in the time we thought we'd get it in. And actually, the one that it's such a pressure when you know you're doing something. It's one take, it's kind of crazy. But I messed up in the one that's in the movie. Remember, I'm like swearing
We
and stuff.
almost used that one, and then
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know anything. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny because we had our shot list for it, and it was something like 48 shots. And about 3 weeks before that scene, we sat down with the first assistant director, who's the funniest man on the planet, Ryan Ornstein, and he just goes like, I just got out of the shower and I had the world's worst thought. What if we did this all in a oneer? Anyways, let's keep working. And we go,
You're like, wait, no, we have to.
oh. And then we got together, we got all the crew together who was trying to celebrate their Sunday, their day off, and shoot it to be able to like block it out, because the shotgun house actually has the same layout as the real location that we were staying in. And we shot it, but he was Anthony Mackie, and he was, well, you weren't there, but you get the idea. And everyone's just reading off a script, and it's ridiculous. But we were like, this is going to be really useful to show the crew. And we sent out the email, and on the day of, we're like, all right, today's that oneer. And the crew's like, what?
Interesting fact, every wonder in this movie exists on Aaron's iPhone with me playing Anthony Mackie. Even the run at the end is in a park in Los Angeles 3 months prior.
And we will be showing it right after this Q&A. We have time for one more. I'm going to go here. So the question was, how did you choose which times they time travel back to?
Well, I know this is like the bad answer. It was kind of instinct, but a big part of it was going back to what we were saying about how we wanted the past to be a monster, to be an antagonist. And obviously there's certain situations, there's a lot of situations you get the Anthony Mackie in, and the past of human history, and the past will be a monster. It's usually the Ice Age sequence, I think it was that one. That one had a dinosaur in it at one point.
No, it was
Was
the
that-
Bayou. The Bayou,
the Bayou scene had a
It used to be
dinosaur.
running from a T-Rex.
Yeah. That exists in ink, just not on screen.
It's almost like it's expensive to do it or something. So, yeah.
Well, we got to turn the theater over, but I want to thank you guys so much for coming and sharing this film.
Thank you.